The Contendings of Horus and Seth. 8 languages. The Contendings of Horus and Seth. Manuscript of Contendings of Horus and Seth. In hieratic script in the Chester BT Library. Size length, 55 centimeters. Created c. 1147 BC. Discovered 1931. Luxor, Luxor. Governorate, Egypt. Present location Dublin, County Dublin, Ireland. The Majesty of Seth said to the Majesty of Horus, how? The Contendings of Horus and Seth is a mythological story from the 20th dynasty of Egypt found in the first 16 pages of the Chester BT papyri and deals with the battles between Horus and Seth to determine who will succeed Osiris as king. Chester BT Papyrus I, edit. The papyrus Chester BT I dates to the 20th dynasty during the reign of Rameses V, reigned 1149–1145 BCE, and likely came from a scribe's collection that was recorded for personal entertainment. Chester BT Papi, Oxford. The papyrus contains the story of the Contendings of Horus and Seth as well as various other poetic love songs. The original provenience of the papyrus was Thebes. When found, the papyrus measured 55 centimeters, 22 in, and had been torn and crushed. 1. The papyrus was published by the Oxford University Press in 1931 and currently is located in the Chester BT Library in Dublin. 2. The story, edit. Arguably the most important part of the Chester BT Papyrus I is the mythological story of the Contendings of Horus and Seth, which deals with the battles between Horus and Seth to see who will be the successor to the throne of Osiris. The specific time of the Contendings is a period during which the fighting has temporarily stopped and Seth and Horus have brought their case before the Aeneid. Throughout the story, Horus and Seth have various competitions to see who will be king. Horus beats Seth each time. The beginning of the story is a sort of a trial when both Seth and Horus plead their cases and the deities of the Aeneid state their opinions. Later in the story, Seth fights with Horus and after several long battles Horus finally wins and becomes the king. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. Beautiful are thy buttocks. How flourishing. The Majesty of Horus said, wait that I may tell it, to their palace. The Majesty of Horus said to his mother Isis, Seth desires to have intercourse with me. And she said to him, take care, do not approach him for that, when he mentions it to thee a second time, say thou to him, it is altogether too difficult for me because of my nature, since thou art too heavy for me, my strength will not be equal to thine, thou shalt say to him. Then, when he shall have given thee strength, do thou place thy fingers between thy buttocks. Lo, it will give. Lo, he will enjoy it exceedingly. This seed which has come forth from his generative organ, without letting the sun see it. Come thou. 3. 4. Flinders Petrie rarely wrote in Latin, unless sexual matters came up. Hieratic papyri from Quran and Gurub 1898, page 4. Consequences of the story, edit. The story of the contendings of Horus and Seth is important to Egyptian society because of its significance to kingship. The story reflects the customary pattern of inheritance for kingship in ancient Egypt, father to son. The story is also significant to the idea of divine kingship because it sets up the idea of the triad of Osiris as the dead king, Horus as the living king on earth, and Isis as the king's mother. Further reading and academic analyses, edit. Many researchers and Egyptologists have dealt with the contendings of Horus and Seth. John Gwynne Griffiths, for example, talks about the whole conflict between Horus and Seth in his book The Conflict of Horus and Set. In the book, Griffiths discusses the different aspects of the ongoing battle for the office of Osiris, including the mutilations, homosexual episode, and the trial. Griffiths argues that the myth is of political and historical origin and that the story of Horus and Seth has to do with tribal struggles before the unification of Egypt. 5. Other historians have discarded this idea when it comes to the contendings of Horus and Seth and say that this particular story was created simply as a religious myth and that it should not be considered of historical context. Oxford Encyclopedia of Ancient Egypt. In ancient Egyptian literature, Antonio Lapriano argues that the contendings is one of the first instances of mythology as a textual genre, and when mythology enters the literary field, he says that this has to do with the story as a political satire. Lapriano 56. In the Oxford publication of the Chester BT Papyrus I that contains the contendings of Horus and Seth, the discussion is conducted by Alan H. Gardner, where he compares the story with the stories of the Greek deities and of Homer's Odyssey. See also, edit. Ancient Egyptian literature. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF. References, edit. 1 Beatty, Alfred Chester, and Alan H. Gardner. The Library of a Chester Beatty. London, Walker. 1936 print. 2 Chester Beatty Library. The Chester Beatty Library website, gallery, exhibition, collection. www.cbl.ie. Retrieved 18 March, 2018. 3 Griffiths, John Gwynne, 1960. The Conflict of Horus and Seth from Egyptian and Classical Sources. Liverpool, UPP 42. ISBN 0-85323-071-4. 4 Hieratic papyri from Quran and Gurub, principally of the Middle Kingdom, Griffith, FLL. Francis. Llewellyn, 1862–1934, free download, borrow, and streaming, Internet Archive. Internet Archive. The 23rd of October, 2016. Retrieved the 25th of September, 2024. 5 Griffiths, J. Gwynne. Allegory in Greece and Egypt. London, Egypt Exploration Society, 1967. Print. 6 Lapriano, Antonio. Ancient Egyptian Literature, History and Forms. Leiden, E.J. Brill, 1996. 50+. Print. Simpson, William Kelly, and Robert Crych Rittner. The Literature of Ancient Egypt, an Anthology. of stories, instructions, autobiographies, and poetry. New Haven, CT, Yale Up, 2003. Print. Categories: 12th century BC literature, 1931 archaeological discoveries. Ancient Egyptian texts, ancient Egyptian religion manuscripts in the Chester BT Library. Horus Set, deity, Rameses v. Thebes, Egypt, archaeological discoveries in Egypt. Explore our developer-friendly HTML to PDF API printed using PDF Crowd HTML to PDF.